Hello everyone, welcome back to another haul vid. I would like to get a review out at some point, but I seem to mainly just be finding the time to do hauls at the moment. Before I get into my usual sort of hauls which I've had over the last couple of weeks, I want to say a big thank you to a YouTuber by the name of Jeff Solo. He does sort of boot fair finds, bits and bobs, a little bit like my own, and he'd actually put on there, does anyone know what these sort of accessories and weapons belong to? And there was a couple of Transformer guns in there. I sort of pointed out one was a G1 Optimus Prime gun, which he hopes to get a Prime at some point, so he hung on to the gun, but he actually said, did I want the other weapons? So that was really nice of him. I hadn't really intended that he was going to give them to me, and he sent me, and I wasn't expecting the second one, this one, he sent me G1 Weird Wolf's blaster, which is very nice of him to send. The one I was actually sort of saying to him about and I could sort of do with was actually this gun, and it belongs to Power Flash, I believe the Action Master name is. Sort of like always a godsend to find any of the Action Master guns, because they were almost like the G.I. Joe guns, very easily sort of like lost and that. So that is a fantastic weapon to pick up. Where he'd managed to find that, God knows, but that's fantastic and will go very nicely with the figure. I've actually got, I think Black Rabbit sent me the other accessory what goes with the Action Master as well, so that will actually complete the figure, so that's a really big thank you to Jeff. Like I say, finding those accessories and bits can be a real pain in the neck with the vintage stuff, so really appreciate that. And he did say if I come across a G1 Scourge or Cyclonus, that he's got the G1 Galvatron and he'd like to have the free, you know, like the Heralds of Unicron sort of set. So I will keep my eye out, and if I find one of those characters for him, I'll pick it up for him. Now, getting on to my haul as such. Now, like I say, this probably has been over 3 weekends that this haul is over, so the bits are mixed up from week to week. One week was actually a washout anyway, so didn't, although I went to the boot fairs hoping that the weather may have bypassed one and gone to the next, sort of like, you know, that the rain had missed it, but unfortunately every single one of them was a washout, so I was a bit gutted that week. The next week I was selling a few bits at a local boot fair. Since we've moved, you find odds and ends you don't sort of want anymore and you don't need, so I've been having a bit of a clear out in that way. No toy related bits, it's more sort of CDs and some clothes which I haven't got space for, because I was a bit of a fiend for buying loads of clothes back in my clubbing days and stuff like that. So I've been having a bit of a clear out that way, so I got round that boot fair and found a few bits. But this last weekend I actually got out and I found quite a reasonable haul. It's not like the biggest haul, but there's some very interesting, nice little bits in it. So without further ado, I'll go through them. Starting with the parts, I suppose, but leaving one till last. First part I found, I'm actually missing the figure. I've actually got, from other bits I've picked up in the past, the the forearm, sorry, launchers, but now I've got the backpack part to Generations Jetfire. Now, Generations Jetfire is a figure I do want, but you often see him missing this bit, and I expect he probably goes for quite a bit less because of it. So either on eBay or, you know, I'd have loved to have found the figure with it, but it is a major accessory part which belongs to Generations Jetfire, so that was a good find as a part. Now, as another part, which again I've been looking for, now I'm not sure if I've got this version. I think I have got it. I know I've got the white version of Megatron's tank mode from the it's not Generations line, I don't know if it's Universe, or perhaps it is Generations, where you had the Optimus and the Megatron. Megatron as a tank. Now I know I've got the white version, but I have a feeling I might have the green version, but both are missing this part. If it will show up in this light, this is the green spinning arm weapon part, which is the tank turret sort of gun as well. This is always missing off that figure because it's like a little detachable sort of nub on the end when this spins round on the arm, like a flail weapon. Chuffed to bits to find that. These parts were actually from one seller. I found another weapon which has got the key for it as well, the cyber key. Now this is like the Clocker figure, but the red version. I'm not sure if it's Swerve, something like that, I believe the figure is. But again, finding the weapon, I might well come across the figure sort of like at some point. So finding the gun is a major bonus. Now, not from the same seller, but from this weekend's haul, I actually found a weapon which has been stored together as it should be, but there was no sign of the figure. But I've got the figure, but I didn't have the weapon, so this was sort of like amazing to actually find this in amongst a random box of toys as well. No sign of anything else Transformer related, but for animated Sentinel Prime, I believe it is, I managed to find his shield and his sword, as you see it connected like that together. Major bonus to find that. Been looking for that for ages, so that's great. I actually managed to find in a random box a G1 weapon for Twin Twist, so a little bit chrome wary, but it might clean up and be a little bit better once it's tight, you know, actually washed and a bit clean. But yeah, really quite chuffed to find that as well. Unusual to find G1 weapons, so it's nice. Now, another part which was in amongst all the bits, no sign of the main figure again, which is a bit annoying because I do need some odd bits off of one to complete another, if you know what I mean. I need the horns, if that makes it a bit of a guess for you which figure I'm on about. But I actually managed to find the Minicon for Armada Megatron, so really chuffed about that. Minicon's in perfect condition. This I've seen go on eBay for something like about £7 because obviously Megatron's a popular figure. This little guy is a real bonus to find. I've been looking for him for a long time, so that's part of the way, minus sort of the actual horns of Megatron. Near enough completes him. Another little bit which came via mail. Now if I show you the back side, you'll see it's a Power Master and it is actually Rev, and he very nearly completes my getaway. Really chuffed to get him. Now getting to a few of the other bits. Now this is more sort of complete things in essence. Robot Heroes bits I managed to pick up. A slightly tatty G1 Bumblebee. He's got a little bit of damage on one shoulder, but not too bad. I got in the same box a Barricade from the first movie. I'm about to think them. I'm not sure if I've got him, so that's actually good because I don't actually think I've got that version of Barricade. So always another nice thing to find a new figure, and also it's really getting difficult now to remember which ones I've got and which ones I haven't, because I'll have to go through my whole vids and look back to see which ones I picked up, because it's all a bit blending in one into the other with those, as is with this one. Now I'm not sure, I think I've got it, but I'm not sure if it's a different style. But G1 Jazz from the Robot Heroes lines as well, he's in quite good nick, so pleased to get him. And now coming on to 3 figures. Now I've seen these with the same seller for probably a couple of months now. He'd been asking something like about £1.50 to £2 each, mainly because they got a bit of weight to them, and I was never going to pay that because at a boot fair you don't expect to pay out much to get bits, and these are small figures. But I actually managed to get some titanium figures off of him, and he ended up letting them go for 50p each, which is a bit more realistic. And I got Cybertron Megatron, which is a nice little figure, quite nicely detailed. Obviously a certain amount of weight because a fair amount of these are die cast metal. I got, now I'm guessing it could be Scorponok, but I'm thinking whether it's Black Zarak or not, possibly more Scorponok. But again, that would have been from what, the Energon line, something like that. And of course, probably my favourite out of the three, and the one I was chuffed to get, although he's missing his little sword, I actually managed to get the G1 Predaking titanium figure, and he is lovely. I have to admit, I have got a soft spot for Predaking, even though I don't own the G1 yet, but I will get him one day. And having a little titanium one is quite a nice little bonus to find that. Now, on to yet more figures. I found Minicon, not sure the name, he forms, I think it's like the shield. But yeah, nice little Minicon, not sure if I've already got him somewhere. Same goes for this one, but I'm not sure if I got the missile or not. It's a little crane one. I haven't bothered looking at their names because, you know, the Minicons are not so important in that way. I believe this is Red Alert. If not, it's modelled on the Countdown mould anyway, for this sort of Generations sort of line of figures, but this is of course Cyberverse lineup. So yeah, it's quite basic, but I have got this mould in other colours as well. But yeah, I do like that. It's a nice little figure. And I think I don't have this Cyberverse figure, and this is from the movie line ones, and I actually got Mudflap. Like I say, I'm not sure if I got him or not. I'm thinking he was one of the ones that I've been looking for. So again, he's in very nice condition. Managed to pick him up, so chuffed with that one. Even though the figure's not fantastic, it's nice to get the line. Now, getting on to a couple of nice figures I found. Now, they didn't have their Minicon, weirdly enough. This was from a different boot fair. I managed to get from Armada, I got Demolisher. Like I say, missing his Minicon, but he has got his missiles, and pretty much is in perfect condition other than that. So, really nice to find him. He actually, I have actually got. So at some point I might do a trade or give that to somebody down the line. And the same goes with this guy. He's missing his missile and his Minicon, but that's from the same lineup of Armada. That's Cyclonus. Again, good little figures. I mean, nothing wrong with them. Like I say, I've already got the actual figure with the Minicon and everything. So again, that's one what I may pass on to someone else if they want them. And now this gets into a little bit of a real mishmash of sort of parts, and parts is a good description of these two. I actually managed to find, in amongst the ones where the Transformer parts came from, same seller, two very tatty and beaten up G1 Constructicons. Mixmaster, as you can see, is missing his drum, and I'm not quite sure what's going on with this guy. I think is it Scrapper, one of the others anyway, but he seems to be made up of more parts than he originally was, and missing other bits he should have, because the green and black wheel on that side doesn't match up with the purple wheel and arm that side, so I'm guessing this is a bit of a mixture of a couple of ones what didn't survive the childhood of the kid they were given to. I picked them up mainly as sort of spare part bits, but they might do as a sort of like damaged set of Decepticons under the foot of one of the larger Autobots, something like Metroplex or something like that at some point. So I got them as a bit of a laugh in that way, of the spares. And the last one of the, what I'd say, proper Transformers as a whole anyway. I actually managed to pick up, he's a little bit tatty and he's weak in the legs, that he tends to sort of shrink down, so he looks like he's a lot shorter than he should be. Missing his spoilers and a little bit off the back end, but I actually managed to find a G1 Mirage, and the main body of it's in pretty good nick. Even the white is actually quite white, so he isn't colour faded too badly, and he's still got a lot of these original stickers. The writing on the sides is in pretty good condition as well, which is another thing that wears off because that's painted on. And the tyres are all in pretty good nick as well, so well worth a pick up. I think he was 50p, so yeah, even for just spare parts, well worth finding. Now getting on to the odds and ends of my haul. Still some Transformer related bits in there, but not robots themselves. But another thing I do collect, I found a original Action Force soldier. Do have this one. He is incredibly dirty, he does need a really good clean. Found him, and I got him in the lot with the titanium ones and that for a couple of pound. Chuffed to find another one. Like I say, I've got him, so he can be a bit of an army builder, so hopefully when I get a diorama, when I do my shelves and that, I can have my Action Force bits out as well. And included in that, I also found the Space Force, I don't know what you'd call it, a cruiser, something like that. It is missing quite a few bits. There's some little wings which should be out to the sides, other weapons and a canopy on top. But I very, very rarely find Action Force bits, and as it was sort of a strange sort of roundabout way, where I was talking to the guy who was selling it, asking him about it, he actually said he got it from a boot fair himself when he was a kid, when this was probably more newer, and he said it was in pretty much the condition I've got it now. He said there wasn't any other bits with it back then, and he said because you're keen and you sort of like obviously like the old toys, he said I'll let you have it for what I paid for it all those years ago. So I got that for 20p. So even as spares, or if I can refurbish it and get it going, it's not actually going to fly, but you know what I mean, get it back to its former glory. That would be quite nice to sort of like see if I can find the bits over time. At the very least, if I've got my sort of like stuff displayed later on, it can be almost like it's in a repair bay, because I've got the Action Force cardboard base, so I'll probably use that as part of the display. So this can be in the repair shop getting sorted out, but it does go in very nicely. That is from the same period, so very chuffed with that. Now getting on to some other odds and ends I found. As anybody who's sort of got to know me over the years on here will know, I was also a bit of a big old fan of Star Wars, which if I panned that round you'd probably see a few Star Wars boxes and some of the original vehicles and that what I've still got. I've still got a lot of the figures and stuff as well. And I actually managed to find a mini rig, but an actual complete mini rig. One of the more common ones, but still quite nice to find. Again, needs a clean. It has been obviously left in a loft for a long time because it's caked in dust. The actual front screen wasn't on there, and when I first saw it I thought, oh, just the usual sort of junk you see lying around. Digging through the box, found the front screen, clipped it straight on, 50p. I paid for that, I think it was, as I got it in amongst the other bits, the equivalent of anyway. So well worth that, and some of the original stickers are still on there as well, if a little bit crooked, so quite chuffed with that as well. That will go in quite nice with my Star Wars display. I've got another one of those which was my original one, but it's not sort of like so much of a bugbear to have two of the same ship in Star Wars, because obviously there were a lot of the same ships, so it kind of army builds the smaller vehicles as well. Now getting to other odds and ends. Now I'll leave the stuff I've got boot fairs for the minute, and I'll show you now. On my last haul I showed you I got the Transformers Prime new DVD which had the little figure of Bulkhead and some stickers and that in it. Now that spurred me on to have a look, and I actually got off Amazon the entire first series, which is there. They don't come packaged together, I'm just holding them together. The 4 DVDs what make up the first series. So I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but really quite chuffed with them. I've watched them all already, and enjoyed it again. Even though I've seen these before, obviously when they was on YouTube on the Hub. I really enjoy Prime. I'm really still a bit gutted that they knocked Beast Hunters on the head when they did. I think there was at least another good series, if not a couple of series, that they could have got out of those storylines, what were coming. It's a bit of a shame. I am a little bit peeved with that. I think they've made a mistake in moving on to yet another reboot. But you never know, it might turn out okay. Don't know. But like I say, really chuffed with them. As the others come available and I can find them, I will pick up the rest of the Prime series, because like I say, I really like that. It's some decent actual character development with the actual Transformers, not just the humans, so that's pretty good. And the other thing I got, which was retail. Now this is only a little thing, and I did have an idea of it at first, but I undenied, and I thought it might tip people off, and I actually picked up, and the guys on the Facebook page will know all about this one. But Tesco's, they're doing the Bags for Life, and they usually do Disney ones, and the other half has got Disney ones because she likes that sort of stuff. And they're doing one for the new movie, so it's got Grimlock and Optimus, and on the other side you've got Optimus's face and the Autobot symbol. Quite nice. Now I did think about using this for the boot fairs as a bit of a bag to go around picking bits up, but then I reconsidered, because I thought it kind of tips off the people selling that this is what I'm really after, and they might start suddenly thinking, oh, he's really interested in these, well, lift the price up a little bit. So I will refrain from using it. It's a bit gutting, but my other half did say, well, it's only £1, get it, and you could always store bits in it or just use it for whatever, you know. I did toy even using it as my lunch bag for work, but I thought I might get a bit of ribbing at work for that one, even though they do know full well that I'm into Transformers. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame. It would have been ideal for the boot fairs other than that. Now, getting to the last bits of my haul as a whole. Let me get the words out. Now my other half collects the Ladybird books, the older ones. She likes the classic fairy tale storylines, things like Cinderella, stuff like that. Now, I half picked them up for her, but if she's not worried about having them in her collection, I've actually kept them for myself as well. I actually found, I've never seen these ones before, 3 of the ones of She-Ra. So you've got 3 different storylines there. These used to come a lot of the time packaged with cassettes which told you the story as well, but no sign of any of those. I did pick up with those as well a He-Man one, so again quite nice. The artwork in these is awful, I will point that out now, with the exception with one of these books. The next one I picked up I'd seen before at an antiques fair, and I didn't want to pay. She wanted I think it was a couple of pound at least. It's in nice condition, but she wanted a couple of quid, and as it turns out I've actually found that, and all of these cost 20p each, so they're dirt cheap. And this one's the exception to the rule, because the artwork is actually taken from the cartoon, so you've actually got the proper cartoon artwork from G.I. Joe sort of Action Force era cartoons, so very nice. I do like that, and I'm pretty glad I held out and found that cheaper. But, and I did, when I was looking through them and picking them up, I did have to sort of contain myself, because I actually think I've managed to find the last of the, if not the last but one Now, even this is getting confusing for me now because I'm not absolutely sure if I've got them all. But I found one of the harder to get Ladybird Transformer books, and I've actually managed to finally get the one with Scorponok on the front, which is Decepticons at the Pole. Again, like I say, I'll show you inside. The artwork is dubious, to say the least. It's not even sort of G1 comic grade artwork, which was pretty good. I mean, poor old Hot Rod looks like he's having some kind of screaming fit like a little girl there, but very nice anyway. And from quite on the toy line of G1, I would say, because they're Target Masters and Headmasters and that in this, you're looking at around the 86, 87 line, and I think that's about when these got knocked on the head. This is actually, and a lot of those are actually first edition ones as well, so which these might have only ever had one edition. But yeah, really pleased to find that. I really did have to contain myself from looking too chuffed with myself picking it up and asking how much. Lovely find that was. And then a bit further on, I actually found something I've never seen this annual before. Not Transformer, but Action Force again. It could be common. You know, I literally don't know. It's in pretty good nick. There's a bit of sort of like where the kid before has tried colouring in a picture and done a little word search thing. But it was worth it because the rest of the book is near new condition. And it's so nice. And it's so nice as well to find another one which I actually don't have. Like I say, never come across this one at all. Don't even remember seeing it, and sort of like if I was going out of the toy collecting back in those days, if it was from the later 80s, early 90s sort of period. So chuffed to find that, really good. And now getting to the pièce de résistance, as they say. This is something I found on eBay. Now, while the rest of you have been at AA, which has made me inordinately jealous of you, watching everybody on Facebook, it's bad enough normally on YouTube, and I've missed a few AAs now since I've got back into collecting sort of full on. Watching all of you on YouTube has been bad enough in the past, but now that we're all connected via Facebook, it's getting a little bit annoying. From my part, nothing against all you guys enjoying yourself, but I really have got to get there next year. I've said to my other half, I want to try and, even if I have to sort of like save up over the year, obviously I still do need book fairing, but I want to try and save up or even put sort of Christmas money and that aside, whatever. But I do want to get there next year. Obviously I've said that before, and I did think I was going to get there this year, but with buying the house and having to decorate and stuff like that, it's not really been cost effective to do it. If AA was in London, I would definitely have been there by now, because I could have stayed up with my other half sister. But being it's in Birmingham, and I'd want to go up for the 4 days, sort of like get there for the Friday. So I'm there Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and then leave on the Monday sort of thing. With the travel up, the hotel stay and going to the actual event, and probably buying lots and lots of interesting bits of plastic. I really do need to make sure I've got enough money, but I have had said to my other half that I think it was Stu's wife was using it a bit of a spa weekend because they've got a pool and stuff like that there at the hotel, which is sort of like a little bit something for her to do as well, although she wants to come into the event. I think it would also give her, if she wasn't overly bothered with everything that was going on, like one of the days out of the 2 she could go and have a bit of a relax and recuperate herself. But anyway, getting back to my point, while you lot were there, but for any of you who are actually looking for it, I actually managed to pick up a bit of a bargain via eBay. I actually managed to find a certain purple gun with a missile for possibly at least half of what it normally goes for. Was a little bit of postage involved, but there would have been anyway, whichever one you go for, because these things usually have to come from Europe. You're not usually finding these in England. and I'm very pleased because it's in very nice condition. And I'll leave it, I could say whose gun it is, but I'll leave that for you guys to figure out. The guys who really know their G1 and know who this gun belongs to. But he is now only about 2 parts shy of being complete, and those 2 parts are one of the more pointy radar dishes and the I'm trying to think now, the little grey car, which I'd like to have it to be a completionist, but it's not really that crucial, to be honest. Neither is the radar dish. I will obviously display him in figure mode, so this is a priority piece sort of thing. So finding that for a really good price, very chuffed indeed. Anyway, that's about it really. I'm hoping this weekend's going to be lovely and sunny like it is today, which is probably making it a little bit harder for you to see me, but being that it's coming up to a bank holiday weekend, that would mean that I've not only got Sunday, I've also got a couple of boot fairs on Monday as well, so I could be in for a good haul, or it could be a washout, or nobody could turn up and it'd be rubbish. So you know as much as I do on that account. So that's about it for this time. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for all my new subscribers. I'm now past the 500 mark, which is quite unbelievable that everyone still wants to watch. I will, no, I said it last night, I will try and get some some reviews done and actually get to show you off some figures. I did sort of reduce down some of the boxes the other day in my mountain of toys, trying to condense things and make it a little bit easier for when it comes to decorating and stuff like that. And I must admit, where I was emptying some of the smaller boxes out and condensing them into bigger boxes, oh, I so want to get this stuff out and displayed, because when you start looking through and you think, oh look, there's that, and I just want to get them out, if that doesn't sound rude, I want to get them out and just get them put out on shelves. Even with the sort of like collection condensed, and I will give you a little look. Even with it condensed, this is still what I'm dealing with. There's still a little bit around that side as well, but as you can see, for scale wise, if I put my finger there, it's quite a large figure. That's Unicron. He looks quite small over there. There's a Primus on the top of that box, and as you can see, that's a full size vintage AT-AT Walker, and he's pretty well dwarfed by all this stack of stuff. Most of it now being toys. There is the odd different bits and bobs in there, some vintage video games, systems and sort of cartridges and stuff like that in some of the boxes, but for the most part that's Transformers, Action Force and Star Wars stuff. So as you can imagine, I'm pretty keen on trying to get that out and displayed. Another indication of size wise, next to old Unicron over there, that's the box what holds Fort Max, this one here. So yeah, it's a big pile of old stuff, and I can't wait to actually finally get it displayed. But there you go. I mean, I know one guy asked the other day on a comment asking if I could do a collection vid. Well, that's as good as I can do you for the time being. I want to get it all sorted out as much as everyone else does, but I'm getting there. Downstairs is nearly done, and I can soon start on the top, but I've got to build a floor up in the loft first so I can stick all this up there so I can actually work up here. So a little way off yet, but I'm getting there, slowly but surely. Anyway, I'm waffling now, and as Stu pointed out, nobody wants to see a waffly video with people going on and on. So I shall sign off here, say thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you again, as much as see you again. Please feel free to comment and subscribe, and just generally cheer up. Everyone's being miserable after AA. Why be miserable? Robots still keep coming. See you later.